welcome back immigration attorney Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch. She is in Austin, and we've got a couple of things to visit with her about today. Good morning, Kate. How are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm all right.
Well, Kate, let's start with this story. Got it about a week ago that it looks like agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, they have gained access to a massive database of health and car insurance claims, and they say they're using that to track down people that they want to deport. And this is according to internal ICE material viewed by 404 Media, according to what I'm looking at. And so that includes about 1.8 billion insurance claims and 58 million medical bills. What is up with this?
Yeah, I mean, this database contains, they say 98% of all insurance claims. So car insurance, house damage, medical insurance. And the purpose of this has been for insurance companies, whenever they pay out a claim, they submit it to this database so that they can make sure that people aren't abusing the system and submitting multiple claims to different agencies. So it's a commercial database that historically law enforcement has had access to, but to investigate insurance fraud. But what the Trump administration is doing with this action and other actions like accessing IRS records, et cetera, we're turning into a surveillance state, right, where ICE is going into all of our private data anywhere they can get it for the purposes of detention and apprehension of migrants. And so privacy concerns, are not being considered, of course. And I think it's really creepy for those of us that feel like this government is starting to encroach upon our rights and our privacy. This is just one more nail in that coffin.
The Bush administration was criticized for some of this after 9/11. Is this worse?
Absolutely. I mean, we did do this after 9/11. There were, small movements, and it was concerning at the time, but what was different then is there was an overall respect for our government and our system of checks and balances and due process of law. And the Bush administration, I worked as an immigration lawyer representing people detained by the Bush administration. It was not a great time, but you could trust that ICE would respect people's constitutional rights, that the executive branch would respect the judiciary, that the rule of law stood in this country, and there wasn't a question overall about, a dictatorship, authoritarianism, just a complete overreach and disregard for the fundamental principles of this country. And that's what's different now. I mean, we've just seen over and over and over in so many areas the way that Trump is just aggressively trampling on people's rights. And for people who have not been impacted yet, I talk to a lot of people like, well, I mean, my family, I've been here for generations. My family's not going to be picked up and separated. The response is not yet. But I don't know why anyone in this country would feel safe at this point, seeing the progress that the Trump administration is making in, just trampling over all of our rights and privacies.
And Kate, what are you seeing in terms of, you're right there in the front lines, in terms of people that are perhaps your clients that are being picked up and such? Are these people with criminal records? That is what everybody was told in the beginning, that's all it was going to be.
That is what we were told. That's absolutely not the reality. That's shown in the data of all the people the Trump administration has deported. 70% of them had no criminal record whatsoever. And then anecdotally in my own practice, I'm an immigration lawyer in Texas. I have thousands of clients. I do removal defense and detained work. The vast majority of my clients have had zero criminal interactions and, in fact, have done everything the right way. Many of them came in legally, applied right away for legal status. They go to their court hearings. They go to their check-ins. And the most horrific stuff is happening where people are being separated from their family members in detention. One parent is sent to one center. I represent a young girl named Wendy. She's 19. She just finished her freshman year of college with a 3.8 GPA. She wants to be a pediatrician. And on her birthday, she was detained with her family, her mom, her dad, and her little brother, and they were split up. and sent to separate detention centers. And she remains detained, and her biggest worry is whether she's going to get out in time to start school in the fall. It's just an absurdity and a horror up close seeing what's happening to these families.
Have you had anybody that are clients of yours sent to, like, say, El Salvador?
No, I haven't had any clients sent to El Salvador. I have clients who are at risk of being sent to third countries, and we're doing everything we can to block or stop the removals to third countries. I do unfortunately think that because of the Supreme Court's decision allowing third country removals, I do think we're going to see an increase in those removals. I don't want everybody to panic, because the truth is ICE will deport someone to their own country when they can. It's easier, it's simpler, it's cheaper. The times when they deport people to third countries is when they have hurdles in the removal to that person's country, and it could be because there's diplomatic relations issues or a breakdown in that government. So it will happen, but the vast majority of people getting deported are still going to go to their own countries. But it is, it's really, really creepy. I mean, you think about people being sent into really oblivion in South Sudan. Like, there's people who are just missing. Nobody knows where they are. Some people suspect that deportees are being sold into slavery. It's so concerning from a human rights angle. And I do think that at the end of all of this, there is going to be a recompense, and we are going to see these ICE agents and leadership in the Trump administration face consequences for their actions, just like the Nazis did with the Nuremberg trials. I think we're headed in that direction.
Who are the ICE agents that you know of? Are these newly hired individuals, or what are what?
These are, they have hired people. Of course, they have funding to hire even more, but these are law enforcement officers who historically, have had jobs where they go after fugitives, like people who have absconded, who actually have a criminal history. That's historically been the ICE job. But now these guys are being told to triple or even more, their daily quota of detentions, and they're being told to go to courthouses and ICE check-ins where people are following the law. They're being told to go to churches and schools and hospitals and domestic violence shelters. And some recent reports have come out showing that the morale within ICE is really, really low. I would argue that any ICE agent who is following these orders is committing human rights abuses, and they need to absolutely quit their jobs and speak out and become whistleblowers against what's happening internally in the agency. There's no excuse for doing what they are doing, and especially there's no excuse for I was just following orders. That is what the Nazis said too.
They're not, whoa. They're not Nazis. Really, you think it's a good? You think it's really?
What's the difference between someone who's sent into oblivion into South Sudan and is sold into slavery, or is sent to indefinite detention?
The government is not selling people into slavery.
What's the difference between that?
Okay, go ahead.
And what the Nazis did? I want to know. What is the difference?
Well, they're not here legally to start off with. Do you at least think? Do you at least?
That's what they're telling you.
Okay, I'm not. Never mind.
Legally, the vast majority of these people entered legally and are following a legal process. It is a lie that these people are not here legally.
Bull butter.
All of them
That's
are not
just
here
total
legally.
bull butter. So I'll leave you alone and let you propaganda this stuff.
What if the Jews weren't legal in Germany? Would you?
It's not Germany.
Okay, go ahead and send them to concentration camps. Go ahead and separate their families. I don't care if they're here illegally.
You don't. That's just it. And you and the rest of your people that go try to do this don't care if anybody's here legally. That's exactly right. You are exactly correct.
Let's play your comparison out. If you had been in Germany and the Jews had
not been in Germany, there's no. That's a hypothetical. That's a hypothetical. That's a hypothetical. That's not correct.
We're here legally, so let's do it.
That's a hypothetical. That's not correct.
I'm telling you, it is.
Well, and you're wrong.
It is an applicable hypothetical. I know that conservative people hate hearing this, but guess what?
I hate hearing fictitious stuff. I hate hearing people compared to Nazi Germany's because they're doing their job.
They need to quit their job. Their job is
maybe you need to quit yours and go into family law or something, because these guys are here illegally.
They're torturing people.
Oh my gosh! You better go ahead.
All right. Well, let's. I want to switch gears, Kate, a little bit, and just touch upon this last thing that is, it's kind of comical a little bit, and that is, Can you take the citizenship away from somebody like Rosie ODonnell? I mean, that's a citizen of the United States.
No. I mean, of course, Donald Trump will threaten it and say anything, but he doesn't have the authority to revoke her citizenship. So it's news. I mean, I think a lot of this stuff is a distraction. It's worthy of a conversation, but no, he can't revoke Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship.
He does not have the authority. Is that the way that works?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
To strip any native-born U.S. citizen of their citizenship.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think birthright citizenship is up in the air, so anybody born after February will see what happens in the federal court system. Of course, there's a class action lawsuit now blocking the implementation of that order, but there's no final decision on the question of birthright citizenship. I think that ultimately the cancellation of birthright citizenship will not be allowed by the courts, including the Supreme Court, but that is still a question of the day.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And we have been speaking to immigration attorney Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch. She's down in Austin. Tell our listeners where they might find you.
You can look me up on any of the socials searching my name, Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch.